welcome in to the IDP Show Live Week 17 edition. Here, presumably for most of you, your championship week. We will be back next week for a little bit of Week 18 for those who like to have championship week in Week 18. I can't say I advocate for it, but if your league does it, you got to win that championship one way or another. So, but first, welcome in, Jeff. Jeff, how are you? And also a pre-happy New Year's to you, good sir, and your family.
Same to you as well, sir. Did the Santa Claus treat you well?
Oh, always. I mean, he brought me another day with you, Jeff. So the
Oh,
gift has been delivered. I can't complain. So
oh, it is already getting deep.
that's right, man. That is right. And we got Otis popping in right away in the chat here. Hey, 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 it's football time. That it is. It is football time. It is championship football time. Maybe consolation bracket, maybe losers bracket, but you know what? We're all degenerates. We're still finding a reason to play every week, so I love it. I absolutely love it. So we got people streaming in here a little bit. So shoot those questions into the chat. You know the drill. Hopefully, we got some of our regulars back. Hopefully, we get a few new faces, and we'll keep rolling. But while we wait for a few more questions to start trickling in here, I guess Jeff, anything you're really excited about this week in the championship week here? Any matchups, team wise, individual wise?
Looking at the injury list this week, it's incredible the list of names. We have a lot of like big high profile names already out. We have a lot of high profile names like doubtful and questionable. So it's going to make for a very interesting start sit, I think, this week, just not only for the viewers today, but just for your own decisions too. It's tough, and just how much that impacts everything else.
Yeah, I think
Offensive
the
side of the
one
ball.
thing. Yeah, I the one thing I'm excited about this week, and because we spent so much time talking about it last week, um, we had two sets of games already. We had two games. We had the Thursday night and the Saturday night, but now it's just everything here is on Sunday, right? Like no Monday night game, no three games on Saturday, four games Sunday, six games Tuesday. Like none of this crazy stuff to worry about. So I'm happy about that. So Rich coming in. Happy New Year's, fellas. Best show of the week. Wow. Well, thank you, sir. We do appreciate that. And we appreciate you popping in here. So we got the first question coming in from Doug. Is Chris Barnes a safe start this week? We want to take that one?
Well, I just again we kind of put it in reference like Chris, is he safe compared to who? Like I feel like he's probably a really safe start this week just based on volume going up against the
Yep.
Eagles. Probably positive game script most of that game for the Eagles. I know that the line for prop bets on both Gainwell and Swift are really high, which means probably a lot of run. And so Chris Barnes is literally the last guy standing in that Arizona Cardinals linebacker room. He's that Will Smith meme when he walks in, he's looking around the room and everyone's gone. Like there's no one left. So he's going to probably absorb a ton of tackles this week. So if you play in a tackle heavy league, Chris Barnes is probably a safe start. I wouldn't expect any big splash plays out of him though this week. So
Yep. Yeah, I think that's a really good call out and way to look at it. But the way you talk through it, that's exactly it, right? Like he's safe because the volume is there. He will pile up the counting stats at a minimum. And, from there, where does he go? Probably not too much further than that. So, but here we are in week 17. And if that's what you got, he's capable to be in your starting lineup. So,
if he
Frosty
has a
coming back,
big
it
week, sell him
is.
in week 18.
Yeah, that's right. Trade in week 18. That's a degenerate league right there. Frosty, it is championship time. Let's go indeed. Yes, I'm glad that you're back in here and hopefully playing for your championship. David, we Kyle Hamilton or Jason Panox. Jeff and I were literally talking about Kyle Hamilton before we got on air here. I believe in my heart of hearts that Kyle Hamilton is going today. He is likely probably 80-90% of himself because it was a re-injury or a tweak of the same MCL issue that he'd had earlier in the year, but you saw that he could play on a high level on that before. So for me that's a Kyle Hamilton play. I'm willing to risk it at this point. I know, Jeff, sometimes you're a little more risk adverse when it comes to injuries, especially in a playoff matchup. So I'm leaning Hamilton here just because I'm not a huge Pinnock fan. Like, and that's not that Pinnock's bad. He's a viable option here. It's definitely close, but I lean Hamilton. Jeff, I'm going to presume you're on the Jason side here.
I am actually. I just have visions of Hamilton like getting re-injured in the first quarter, limping off, and then Pinnock having a plus matchup versus the Rams this week, being just peppered with targets and opportunities for tackles. The Rams over the last like 3 weeks are a top 5 team for opposing safeties. So I just think that that's a primo matchup. Stafford's been airing it out a ton lately. He's made 3 wide receivers viable options. And I just worry about Miami's offense this week without Mostert, without Waddle. They might not be as efficient as they usually can be. So I'm just looking at watching Hamilton limp off the field after the first quarter and then seeing Pinnock go off. So I'm leaning Pinnock here. He's been my ride or die all year, so it's hard to leave him.
There you go. So, David, it sounds like if you're looking for maybe a little safer play, better floor, and possibly still some upside, sounds like Pinnock's there for you. Again, like we say, if you want it right, you go with Jeff. If you like to live in the crazy space that I live in, you can go with Kyle Hamilton this week. But best of luck, David. Felipe coming in. Nate Hobbs or Kyle Duggar? I don't know. For me, right away, I look and Kyle Duggar is the one that or not Kyle Duggar. Excuse me. Nate Hobbs is the one that actually pops off for me here. Kyle Duggars, I think, is still a good play and a relatively solid play overall. I just really like the matchup that Nate Hobbs has against the Indianapolis Colts. They've shown that they consistently run a high volume of plays with that offense. They run quick, they go quick to the line. Just a high volume of opportunities overall. Nate Hobbs, that we've talked about, he plays positive alignment for a cornerback in the slot, and he's just a great tackler. So I think that Hobbs has probably a great floor this week. Probably about the same upside as Duggar. So I mean, with that said, to me, it feels like it's Hobbs pretty easily, and even with Jabril Peppers out, we saw Jalen Mills step right into that role and assume a lot of snaps inside the sweet spot. So the box, the slot, and along the defensive line last week. So Duggar really didn't get any sort of injection in terms of greater plays closer to the line overall. So to me, long story short, it's Hobbs over Duggar pretty easily, and that I enjoy Duggar as an IDP player as well. So.
I totally on board with that call, Jake. Hobbs, they plays Indy this week. Hopefully they get Pittman back.
Yeah, he cleared concussion protocol.
Yeah, that offense becomes a little more efficient. They stay on the field a little longer. Duggar's coming in with an illness designation too, so he might be a little under the weather, not playing 100%. So it just makes me lean more towards Hobbs. So.
All right, sounds like we're in an agreement there. So good luck, Felipe.
Which means it's Duggar's the call.
Nah, Jeff said. Frosty coming in. Sit one. Barton Spillane, Speed, and Levante David. Pretty quickly to me, that's Barton. I like everyone else's overall floor and matchup this week for the most part. That I'm pretty quick to say Barton is the one I'm sitting.
Yeah, I was just looking quickly who Tampa has. They have New Orleans. So, yeah, that's a pretty good plus matchup, too. Yeah, Barton.
Yep. So, relatively easy one, at least from our seats. We're not the ones setting the lineups. It's always harder when you're the one who's got to watch the lineups lock in. But, yeah, hopefully that helps you out, Frosty, and good luck in your matchup this week.
Jake, I was going to ask you, why is that? Why is it easier to, look at someone else's start sit and you can agonize for days over your own
100%. So I don't know what all sites do it, right? But my main league, right, on Reality Sports Online, it tracks all moves, right? On you switch a starting lineup, right? It says this happened at this time. For the track, you look at mine is just constantly littered with this guy was out 15 minutes later, this guy's back in, the back and forth back. It's easy because you don't have to live with it, right? I mean, I try to put myself in that position, but in the end, right, I don't, because I'm one of those doom people, going back and forth 15 minutes. Okay, did my score change? Nope. Did my score change? Nope. So I don't have their lineups to look at. So that's what makes me feel like it's easier, right? I can't sit there and go back and forth and stare at this lineup for the next 7 hours. So, all right. Well, Kevin's coming in. He needs 2 defensive backs: Josh Metellus, Jordan Battle, Quandre Diggs, Diamador Lenore, or Deshaun Elliott. Anything popping off the page for you, Jeff?
Well, Metellus for sure. And then in about an hour and a half, I can tell you if it's going to be Elliott or Battle for me. If um, Javion Holland is ruled out again for the third week in a row, it'd be Elliott for me versus Baltimore. But if Holland plays, that makes that whole backfield or the secondary kind of muddy for me for Miami. So if Javon Holland is out, I'm going to go Battle and Metellus. And if Holland is in, then it'll be Metellus and Battle. So sorry,
So
say that? Did I say that right?
yeah,
So yeah,
Metellus is locked in, and
yep,
then you're doing your decision path or decision tree between Jordan Battle or Deshaun Elliott. So if we got
yep.
Javon Holland active for that game, then we're going to Jordan Battle route. If Javon Holland is out, and obviously then all those opportunities get funneled into the Deshaun Elliott bucket, we're starting him again in a big matchup against the Ravens.
Yeah, I'm making a similar decision in my one of my own leagues with Brandon Jones too. So
There you go. I lean a little bit closer to Battle. I actually like Battle as a second option here, but I totally get where you're coming from with Elliott. It becomes a lot harder if Javon Holland is out. He's coming into today's game with a questionable tag. I haven't seen any talks of him being a game time decision yet, but that doesn't mean it hasn't been out there. So, but Metellus sounds like he's locked in for us, Kevin. And so then you're just kind of trying to pay attention to what's happening for that Dolphins Ravens game, which is a noon game. So that's good. And good luck this week, sir. Bring home that title. Nate, Brandon Jones, Rayshon Jenkins, PJ Locke, Jalen Thompson. Choose two. Um, I feel like Jalen Thompson's locked in for me. I don't know. I like the alignment and utilization that they get overall there in Arizona. Plus, in a matchup against Philadelphia, it's likely that he's going to see just good volume overall. Um, I like PJ Locke. I wasn't a big Locke believer when he got the shot with Kareem Jackson in and out of the lineup, but he's kind of proven himself there. And I to our just the conversation before us, I do believe, as of right now, I think Javon Holland is likely to play a vast majority of snaps this week. So I think that really lowers Brandon Jones, and Rayshon Jenkins is just the master of having great utilization, but not really doing a whole lot with it, at least not consistently. So all that to say, that takes me to PJ Locke and Jalen Thompson.
1,000%. Um, yeah, I was gonna lock in Lock right away. He's been playing well. Broncos actually waived Kareem Jackson, who
Mm-hmm.
signed with Houston. So the job's all his. Like him and Justin Simmons are the secondary pieces there for Denver. So he's an easy one. And like you said, Jalen Thompson going up against Philadelphia just gets a ton of opportunities there. They're going to be without Marquise Brown on the offensive side. I think that offense is going to struggle to put anything together. So a lot of volume for Thompson today.
Yep. All right. Good luck, Nate. Robert, do you like Kobe Turner, Jonathan Cooper, or Derek Barnett if Will Anderson doesn't play? First off, I saw a clip of Kobe Turner and one of his teammates making fun of him because he sits like an old man on the sideline. And I just feel like maybe that's how we all need to sit and we could play at our highest level like Kobe Turner's been doing. So, but that said, if I had to pick just one here, I lean Cooper. I like Turner, and then Barnett would be last for me. I do believe Will Anderson plays this week. As a Texans fan, I'm holding out a ton of hope because it does not look like we're going to have Jonathan Grenard either. So they definitely will need that injection of pass rush on the edge. But Anderson was limited at practice most of this week, and looks like he's going to at least give it a go. So yeah, Cooper just feels like the safer overall play for me, and then he still has obviously the big play upside as he's shown at times this year.
Yeah, I think with Baron Browning being ruled out this week already, Cooper's going to get a little bit more traction, a little more run. So definitely
Yep.
Cooper for me as well.
Yep. Is Nick Benito out too? Are they both out?
No,
No.
no, him, Cooper, and Benito are the only two healthy defensive ends this week. So
Okay. All right. I'm probably just mixing them up in my head then. Too many rotations of Denver pass rushers there going on. But yeah, we both like Cooper. So Cooper's the guy we're looking at there, Robert. It sounds like you're looking for one. So, all right, we got David coming in. McDuffie with Campbell out. Perryman or Devin White. So yeah, that's right. Isaiah McDuffie, Perryman, Devin White. I think Cashman might be back this week too.
Yep.
I gotta. Is he back for sure?
Mm-hmm. As he
Okay.
doesn't have an injury designation this week. I was
Yeah.
going to
So
go
then,
between McDuffie and White for me.
yeah, I'd probably go Devin White. Like I know he hasn't lived up to the billing of what we've all thought he could be, especially after his rookie and sophomore season, big sack total numbers and all that stuff. And his PFF grades are poor, but you know what? He's still out there. He's still calling the plays. He's still piling up a lot of tackles. Maybe not as much as we'd like. Levante David out there doing some work as well. But I think this is one where just the athlete he is, he'll make plays out there. And yeah, I just like him better than McDuffie, because McDuffie, even when, as long as Quay Walker or Devondre Campbell, one of them is out there ahead of him, like McDuffie is going to be an 80% snap guy. So, and same with the Houston linebacker room. When everyone's healthy, that thing gets muddied and rotation heavy at times. So yeah, I think it's White, McDuffie, Perryman. Yeah, it's pretty close between between McDuffie and Perryman, I guess, but White is pretty easily the number one there.
Yep, 100%. And then also, like we were talking to earlier about the Vikings offense tonight, with Jaron Hall as the quarterback, how efficient is that offense going to be for the Vikings? Is McDuffie going to get a lot of volume? And if he's only getting 80% anyway, you know, how your sample of snaps is going to be much less between Devin White playing against New Orleans versus McDuffie playing against the Jaron Hall led Minnesota Vikings. So,
yep. All right. Well, good luck, David. And enjoy your championship. Since you followed Jeff's advice. Oh boy, I know this guy, so I'm gonna have to let you take the lead on this one, Jeff. Need to make up 40 points in my big 7th place matchup this week. Who sits between McDuffie, Battle, and Richie Grant?
does Richie Grant have a job? No, seriously, did he get benched for?
He was losing snaps. I know that, but I thought he was still. I'll look that up quick.
I think regardless, it's pretty easy that Richie Grant is the one that's out for me. Yeah, over the last 3 weeks, he's played 81%, 11%, and 38%. And DeMarco Helms has played
Yep.
98 and 98%. So easily Richie Grant for me. Good luck, Michael. Hope you crush your 7th place matchup.
Yeah, this is a home league fellow with me here. So, yeah, absolutely right. Yeah, looking at this, he was still listed as a starter last week, but only played 27 snaps. I think, did he have an interception? Well, no, he had a sack. Was that it? Yeah, he had a sack last week, so that's what boosted that overall production last week. So, but yeah, very limited snaps there in a game against Indianapolis last week, even as the starter. And yeah, I mean, Battle and McDuffie are strong plays regardless. So, good luck, Mike. I hope to crush you next year. All right, Otis coming in.
Battle in Cincinnati this week when they're playing Kansas City. Kansas City has not been a very favorable matchup for opposing safeties, so might be.
Yeah, it'll be interesting with Pacheco back too. With him out the last few weeks, has that hurt safeties? Has that helped safety scoring? Right. I haven't really dug into, I guess, that correlation specifically, but for someone like Battle who plays closer to the line of scrimmage overall, I would think that that's going to lead to a better opportunity for Battle to have a nice floor in terms of just tackle production. So. Otis, Antoine Winfield, or Roquan Smith, thanks for everything and good luck to anyone who made it this far. Ooh, Winfield has had a really great year. I saw on Twitter from one of our favorites from across the pond, Tom Kislingberry. Those 5 sacks that Antoine Winfield has produced has come on 17 pass rush opportunities, or is it pass rush opportunities or pressures? It was a pretty high conversion rate, essentially, is what it came down to. And I think that's something where, yes, there's something to be said for an outlier, producing at times like that. But I think in this situation, I'd probably lean closer to Roquan, just the pure volume that he can pile up, especially in a matchup against the Miami Dolphins, where it's 2 good offenses against 2 good defenses as well. I'm inclined to lean Roquan here. I don't know how you feel, Jeff, about this matchup.
Yeah, it's always interesting when you have different positions kind of stacking up against each other. Scoring is always a huge piece of it. Is it sacks where Roquan could get maybe a little bump there? Is tackle heavy? So just kind of looking at scoring, they're probably pretty close to even as far as the season totals go. I'm gonna probably lean Winfield here just because of a little bit bigger play upside with forced fumbles, interceptions, that kind of thing. So I'm gonna lean Winfield here.
So it sounds like, at least in our discussion here, if you want to inject a greater ceiling play, that sounds like Winfield is definitely the guy to go for. If you're looking for a safer play, maybe you have the projected lead in your matchup and you're on a platform that's halfway decent at projecting things, then maybe Roquan is the right play for you. Or if you like to follow the Jake school of thought, um, what Jeff says is right. What I say is here for cannon fodder and giggles. So that's what I like
Setting
to
me up
bring
for
to the show
failure.
for us.
Just setting me up for failure.
No one has come back into this the next week and said Jeff has led me astray. I'm just saying,
Yeah,
Jeff.
because they've been eliminated from their playoffs.
I'm never coming back. No, Otis, I like Jeff's thinking though. I agree. Um, he's delivered some big plays for sure for us this year. So um, I like the call on the ceiling play there. And good luck. All right, Rich, 2 points solo, 1 assist, heavy tackle, bonus league as well. So start for TJ Edwards, Fred Warner, Robert Spillane, Aziz Elshayer, Logan Wilson, EJ Speed, Kaliki Hudson. Whew. Thought I was reading off like the Pro Bowl rosters here
I
for a
know.
second.
So we have to not start 3 of these.
Correct. Logan Wilson stands out to me right away as a guy that I'd probably slide out of there. And it's not that he's bad. It's just that I think that he hasn't shown in the second half of the season here much. The same, higher upside that we've seen from him, especially like in pass coverage, I think is where he's done a nice job. Interceptions, passes deflected. And this is here he talks about heavy tackle bonus. So, um, I think TJ Edwards and EJ Speed stand out to me right away as guys who can really just pile up pure tackle stats on a relatively consistent basis. I know Edwards has had a few um, down games in the last handful here, so I get maybe a little bit of trepidation there. But I like Speed and Edwards as my first two. Then, gosh, who does Tennessee have? I'm blanking on their match. Houston. Stroud is back. I think I
For me,
like
it's yeah.
Spillane, and then I'm torn between Warner and Hudson. Warner feels safe, but Hudson's been just flying around the field making tackles, especially solo tackles.
And he's been doing it in poor matchups too. Like
Right,
so, it's one thing to like have a high volume with great matchups, but Hudson's been doing it in like some not so great matchups. San Francisco's not a really good matchup on paper for opposing linebackers, which is surprising, seeing as how
right.
efficient their offense is. But I think, like you made your point too, is they're too efficient. They're too good on
Hmm.
offense. So um, Edwards for sure, Speed for sure, Spillane for sure, and then is who's the quarterback in Washington this week? Is it
Brissett was a game time decision. They said I haven't seen anything that's brought any clarity on that. I'll just double check here if I can find anything.
I'm gonna go Alshea here in this one. I think he just has been stacking great games for the last several weeks. Clearly the leader in that Tennessee defense, especially now with I think is Simmons out.
Yeah, he's on IR. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
so I just think he's gonna get a ton of volume there. So
I mean, I agree. I think that increases the volume, like the plays that can seep through, but it also limits how clean
yep,
he can stay to
clean
try
he
and
is.
make
Yeah,
plays. Uh, yeah,
and
I
like
mean,
I think you mentioned too, like Stroud is back this week, so I think that Houston offense becomes a little bit
viable again.
better play. Yeah, so it's hard to sit Warner, but I think he's been so much more of a name than a consistent score. I know he's done well, but
Yeah. So I mean, we're locked in, right? It's Edwards, Spillane,
speed.
and Speed,
Okay, yep.
right? You like El Shair. I'm actually kind of leading Hudson again this week, so um, I don't know. Hopefully that helps you, Rich, a little bit. I mean, I think Shair is probably maybe a little bit of the safer play because it's not the best matchup for Hudson, but I like what Hudson's shown us in these last few weeks in terms of just his efficiency, being some of those linebackers out there. Like Barton was an easy pass for me. He'll pile up some tackles for sure. He won't hurt you terribly, but Hudson seems to be the guy out there making the plays overall. All right. Keep us rolling here. Robert circling back, Brisker or McKinney? Brisker pops off the page for me just the way he's been playing lately. I mean, he's been a good player most of the year, but he's really, I feel like, stepped up here in the second half of the season. And I don't know if that's having an injection of life along that defensive front with Montez Sweat coming in. So now teams are actually having to commit more resources up there, and people like Edwards and Edmonds and Brisker at that second level are able to play a little more freely and make some plays. The Giants get the Rams. I mean, I feel like they're both generally positive matchups. I'm going to go with my gut here because Brisker popped for me, so I would lean Jaquan Brisker here, Robert.
I'm going to lean Brisker as well, but I don't think there's really a bad start this week between the
No,
two of them. McKinney's
right.
been playing really well as of late. Um, over the last 3 weeks, the Rams have been a top 5 matchup for opposing secondaries, like we talked about earlier when we had the question about Panak. So um, Atlanta worries me a little bit just because of their coaching hasn't been always the best as far as like using their players. And so is Chicago versus Atlanta a better matchup than the Giants versus the Rams? But I think Brisker's athleticism and in the box snaps makes up for that. So we're going to go Brisker.
Yep. All right. Eric circling through here. Eric, Happy New Year. Same to you, sir. Thanks for popping in as always. Oh boy, I'm letting us fall way behind here. We got to speed up. All right. Summers coming in. Need 2 linebackers: Speed, Kaliki, Ernest Zaire, Okereke, and Spillane. Speed and Hudson currently. Well, nice job piling up a great list there. I I think I go Ernest and Speed here personally. It's pretty close for me. I don't think you have. I'm going to say this: no one on this list pops off to me as you shouldn't be playing them. Um, but I'm Ernest and Speed. I think at this point.
I'm going to go Speed and Okereke. I think the Rams are going to run a lot with Kyron Williams. He's going to be just the recipient of all of those runs. So I'm going to go Speed Okereke. But like Jake said, like this is an amazing list of linebackers. I don't think there's a wrong combo this week for these guys. So
Yep. Yeah, because that's my first thought. Right, is if there's someone on here I don't like, that's what I'm going to tell you, and then you can play, whatever roulette with the rest of these people on here. But yeah, so we agree on Speed. So keep Speed in there, and then, well, now you got 3 options. You had Hudson. I like Ernest, and Jeff, you like Okereke. So we half helped you out, Summers. And good luck in your matchup. Brad coming in, Nick Bolton or Dre Greenlaw. I think it's got to be Greenlaw. Bolton to me, I hasn't played 100% snaps here since coming back from the injury. Tranquils look good. They've been using Willie Gay, Leo Chenal, so we're back to Steve Spagnuolo rotating linebackers. So to me, it's Dre Greenlaw pretty easily. All right.
yeah, you nailed it. I just hammer it.
I was gonna say we either lost Jeff or he's just so dumbfounded by how stupid my take was.
Go.
Good luck, Brad. David, you got pick 2: Bolton, Devin Lloyd, Nate Landman, Michael Walker. Thank you. Devin Lloyd, even after a down week, I think is locked in. And then I'm probably gonna go Nate Landman still.
Yep. I was gonna go the 2 L's.
Yep. So yeah, take 2 L's so you get the W. That's what we're talking about, right?
Walker, I think, was losing snaps to. Yeah, we'll be here all week. I think Walker is losing snaps to Miles Jack last week. Anyway, with Landon Roberts, and I saw that this week they had Blake Martinez was coming up from the practice squad. So it's just a rotating door at the Pittsburgh linebacker and secondary room has just been decimated this year.
Yep. Good luck, David. Daniel, trusting Alex Highsmith this weekend. Tough matchup. Um, Mafe, Audrey, Matabuke, Hubbard on waivers. 2-point tackles, 1.5, 5 sack. Who does Mafe? Well, Mafe is they're playing each other. Pittsburgh versus Seattle, right? Yep. Baltimore's got Miami. That's a tough one overall. I don't like Danico Autry against Houston with Stroud back. Stroud's done a good job. They take a lot of pressure, but they haven't given up a ton of sacks there recently. So I would pass on Autry. Matabuke, I like him in this year, but I just Miami is a timing based offense. They get the ball out quick, so I think I'd pass there. Cincinnati has Kansas City, kind of the same thing with Mahomes in the pocket. So I think I think I stay with Highsmith actually. After talking through this, took me a bit to get there. Sorry, but yeah, I stick with Highsmith.
Yeah, if the only pivot there I see would be Matabuke, it would be maybe Miami's offense is a little bit off this week without Mostert and Waddle, where they're trailing, so they're going to have to hold on to the ball a little bit longer. He's kind of locked in on Hill or Durham Smythe, I guess this week is the new flavor of the week in Miami. So, yeah, Highsmith 92%, and then Matabuke would be the 8% if you needed to pivot.
I like it. All right. Good luck, Daniel. Dirk, Damador Leonore, or Tyreek Stevenson of Chicago. Chicago's got Atlanta. I think you got to go Lenore here. I just don't like the consistency of the passing attack from Atlanta. I mean, that's the matchup for me.
Yep. And I think Washington is going to be trailing in this game, so they're going to be throwing, whether it's Howell throwing it up or Brissett coming in or whoever the third string guy is if Brissett doesn't play.
Yep. Good luck, Dirk. Office Depot coming in. Morning. Good morning to you. Hope everyone made their champs. 3 of it. That's pretty darn good. I made 3, but I had like 13 leagues. So, Office calling out the like button as always. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Boston, Tyler Lockett or Noah Brown, full PPR. Or Colts, Ravens, or Falcons D. I like Noah Brown again this week, and I'm a Texans fan, so full disclosure, potential bias alert. But we saw what he did 2 weeks ago. Even with Case Keenum, we've seen him do a lot with a healthy Stroud, and he's clearly ahead of Robert Woods in that passing options there. So to me, it's pretty easily Noah Brown. And then I think I like the Colts defense, right? They got the Raiders. That offense over there. I mean, they scored 20 points, but there was 2 defensive touchdowns last week. The Raiders, and then when they did that against the Chargers, they had a lot of defensive help doing that. So I don't believe in the Raiders offense. And the Colts DST has actually scored really, really well just on the season as a whole. So Brown and Colts D for me, Jeff. I don't know where you land on these.
Yeah, Lockett's been seeping a few more snaps to Jackson Smith and Jigbo over the last few weeks. He's probably still a viable option, probably like your 11 or 12 points, safe floor. But I think Noah Brown has a chance for a blow-up game for you. And like Jake said, the Colts defense, did O'Connell not complete a pass from like the second quarter to the end of the game?
Something like that.
Something?
Yeah, there's like 3 quarters without a completion.
Right. Yeah. So that's an easy one for me.
Awesome. Good luck, Boston. David, thank you guys so much for doing this every week. Very helpful and a lot of fun. Hey, we have fun. We love doing it, and we're glad that people are finding it helpful. That's really the key part. So, let's see, AVG or Devin White, RSO designated as linebackers. Well, first, Zia, talk to your commish. RSO has overrides because it's my favorite platform, so I know that. But to your question, oh boy, that's a heavy tackle. It's a lot of points for a tackle. I think I got to go Devin White just with how much your scoring is for tackles. I like AVG, made some big plays, but White feels like the right play here.
Yeah, especially getting 4 points for a tackle. I mean, that's more important than a sack, which is kind of backwards in design, but to each their own.
Right? So good luck, Zia, and talk to your commish. RSO. position override. Kevin's coming in. Awesome, guys. Thank you. Have a happy and healthy new year. Same to you, sir. Felipe, Chase Young for the revenge game. Boye Mafe or AVG. Oh man, we've talked about Chase Young and just how he really hasn't been producing that great. And I don't see. I mean, he's played slightly better production or stat wise. I feel like the last couple of weeks, but I'm not buying into that. So for me here, I like AVG. I like how he plays and how he gets after the quarterback. So especially when he's playing a quarterback like Lamar who will extend plays with his legs. To me, it's AVG, Mafe, Young in that order.
Yep, and Chase Young hasn't really been anything more than a 50% snap share since his time in San Francisco. So he hasn't even like seen an increase or trending that direction. Um, I do like the revenge game narrative, but I just think the safe play here is AVG here. Like you said, Jake, too, playing against Lamar, he gives him plenty of opportunities to get tackles for losses and sacks and stuff like that. So,
Yep. And good luck, Felipe. Zia circling back with, I almost said David Carr. Wow, Texans really showing here.
whoa.
Derek Carr or Geno Smith in Superflex. Keep going back and forth. Um, the Buccaneers are a pass funnel defense. I mean, that's so to me, it's Derek Carr. Geno Smith is a decent play. Um, yeah, I just like the upside against the Buccaneers pass defense too much to give up on that. So
And the other thing too is I think Tampa can do enough offensively to keep pushing New Orleans to keep scoring. Whereas I worry about Pittsburgh. I mean, we've seen Mason Rudolph before what he can do. You know, he had a couple fluky plays that made that game interesting. Whereas I think Seattle can get ahead and kind of grind the clock out. Whereas the Buccaneers and New Orleans are probably a little more matched offensively to keep that game going. So
yeah. Good luck, Zia. Clint coming in. Good morning. Aziz with the Titans or Hudson with the Commanders. Aziz is going to be ranked higher in most sites. But do you go with the hot hand and Hudson? So, Clint, too funny because I feel like Jeff and I are split here. I think Jeff's going to go Aziz. I'm going to go Hudson, and I don't know. I don't know that we're going to give you a ton of help making a definitive decision that way, but I could be wrong. Jeff, am I wrong in guessing that's where you land?
if it's a tackle league, I can totally see going Hudson. Um, Ajis is probably going to give you a little bit more, like maybe an opportunity for a bigger play with a sack or a pick or something like that. But I think Hudson is more of a piler for tackles. So I could
Yep.
definitely, if it's a tackle league, I can be swayed Hudson clearly. So,
Yep. Yeah, I mean you're right because you look at someone like Hudson, he gets like one,
mhm.
2, or 3 pass rush opportunities a game. Where I think Aziz sits definitely higher in terms of that. I mean, yeah, he's closer to 5, 6 pass rush opportunities a game. So and has shown more in pass coverage. So I think if you're balanced or tackle heavy, you're likely going to lean Hudson. If you're big play dependent or heavy, then you probably want to look at someone like Aziz.
And you're not crazy for thinking that either. So,
You are not. Nope. That's good that you're thinking through it. So, help me make finals today. Awesome. Very, very awesome to hear that. And best of luck, sir. And happy New Year to you as well. Um, Zia's coming in saying we're getting some bad audio from you, Jeff. I don't know if you're coming in a little quiet. Maybe Mike's not.
that was earlier. That was 15 minutes ago. I don't know if
That
you're
was
still.
15 minutes ago because I'm running us way behind. So, all right, Rugaro, good morning and happy holidays. Same to you. Noah coming in, speed or pace. To me, that's pretty easily speed. With Hicks back and everything, we saw that pace is getting pushed down. So Jeff's nodding there. I think we'll keep rolling. Rogeru Hutch came through. Did he ever? 3 sacks, sack strip. I think it was officially scored on one of the last one as well. So heck yeah, Clutchinson, as I like to call him. Ciolo coming in. Hey boys, nervous about starting Khalil Mack. Would you consider Aaron Donald, Kuntz, or Van Ginkel over Mack? I would probably pretty confidently go Aaron Donald. I like his matchup a lot this week actually, um, against the Giants. So I would probably go there for sure. Uh, Kuntz, it would be a tough one for me to start over him, even though he's had a bit of a hot streak here. Yeah, Donald would be the big one I would consider over him.
I would go Van Ginkel over Mac. Just like we kind of laid out before, Baltimore gives them plenty of opportunities. Not really sure what the Stidham led Denver Broncos is going to look like. Is there if it was Russell Wilson, we kind of know what that offense looks like. But um, yeah, for me, I would almost lean Van Ginkel over Mac. Donald's
Would you
been
go
more
Van?
of a provider for everyone around him. Kobe Turner and stuff like that have benefited. Has Donald had a decent season? I mean, has he done?
7 sacks. I mean, he's definitely underproduced based on pressures. I did a write up on him earlier this week, so that's why I'm just like, yep. I'm very interested in him. His numbers, his pressure rates, and win rate. Would have him closer to like 10, 11, maybe even 12 sacks, depending on how you want to weight a little some things. But so I just again a very plus matchup. Um, I like that overall. But I'm with you on Van Ginkel. I think he's definitely a viable play over Mac this week. So then moving on to Roger, do we like McKinney today versus Rams? Yeah, we were talking McKinney versus someone earlier, but I mean we basically said it. McKinney is a solid play today. So I mean, obviously it's all relative to other options, but I don't think there's any concern that matchup wise you'd be looking at pulling McKinney. Then Eric coming in. Let's see. Start to Kaliki Hudson, Kevin Byard, Devin White, Harrison Smith, Jordan Battle. That's a good list.
Hudson for sure.
Yes, sir.
Now we talk through
Gosh.
Byard versus a poor matchup versus Arizona.
Yep.
White with a decent matchup versus New Orleans. Smith probably a plus matchup for secondary in Green Bay, and then Battle with probably like a mid
Average to below average.
below average. I almost like Smith this week, like Khalil Hudson and Smith out of this list. And if it's
Yeah.
not Smith, it would be Devin White for me.
See, so and I talked about I liked Battle earlier. So to me, I like Hudson, and then Battle, and then Devin White. So I mean, that's just I think our preferences and how we view the matchups there. So we're locked in on Hudson. Um, if you want to split the difference, and hey, those guys don't agree. We like White as the third. So if you're in on White, you could definitely slide him up in there as the second option. Best of luck, Eric. Rogeru coming in. Carl Laftis, Byron Young, Tuli Piloto. Need one.
This is that Aaron Donald effect, right? With Brian Young. Like, so he makes everyone around them better. Kobe Turner, Brian Young, they get better against the Giants. I know that they've been improved on the offensive piece going forward, but like, you know, can he get home one time? Is Tyrod Taylor playing? Are they going
Yes.
back to okay?
Yep, Tyrod.
All right, so no Danny DeVito this week.
Nope. Yeah. So anything
For me, it's between
stand out
Brian
for
Young
you?
and Tulu.
Yeah, I'm pretty indifferent here. I'd probably just lean Young based on volume. Yeah, I'd go Young, Tuli, Karloftis at this point. I don't know. Is that where you landed? I'm sorry, I was looking
Yep.
something up, so I didn't. Okay,
Yep.
so
Very much the same.
all right. Good luck, Rogeru. Rich coming in. Thanks again for all your help. Tackle heavy, Matabuke or Cooper. I guess maybe break that down right there. I think I like the play of Cooper this week for Denver. Matabuke has obviously been on a tear. This is I don't like the matchup against the Dolphins as much overall, so I think I'd lean Cooper. But if you like the talent and what you've seen in Matabuke, I wouldn't blame you for plugging him in. I think what he's shown is he can outplay a matchup. But just in this given situation, because context, right? I think Cooper's a strong enough play to be a better one to put in my lineup over Matabuke. Is that you on board with that, Jeff? I know you're a big Matabuke fan too.
100%. I do like Matabuke a lot, but I think the matchup this week with Cooper, for Cooper this week is awesome. Again, I think they're down a defensive end, so Cooper and Benito are going to get a ton more run. So I just like that. And for me, this next one is kind of a slam dunk. As much as a Vikings fan as I'm not, Bynum has just been unreal this season. I'm
Yep.
having to do something similar, making a decision between Derwin James and actually Josh Metellus, and I'm going to lean Metellus this week just because, like you said, he doesn't know what that role with the defensive coordinator only getting 75% of snaps last week for Derwin James. Um, I like the matchup for the Vikings this week versus the Packers. I think they're Packers are kind of clicking on offense a little bit. They've been a very efficient offense. I think there's a thing about Jordan Love being eight weeks of being a top efficient quarterback, and there's only two quarterbacks above him. So I think I like Bynum this week. He's probably like the number one defensive back on the season too. So it's hard to sit
Right.
16 weeks of work. So
Yep. Nope. You're spot on. I would have nothing to add to that. As wrong as it feels to say out loud, it's Bynum over Derwin. So
speaking of Derwin James, hey, did you see that Jace Abbey took down his Derwin James jersey? I don't know if like in his podcast, he usually has it hanging on the door there. It was missing.
oh
I was
boy,
going to ask him about it, but I was
I
like,
wonder. I wonder if IDP legend John Macri has done the same. So, oh boy, maybe there's a something happening here. We'll have to keep an eye on that. All right, Hannah coming in. Thank you all for the help this season and Happy New Year. Good luck to all of us in championship. Started Gibbs last night. Yeah, I've actually got that same pain I'm feeling in a couple leagues. So, good luck to you, Hannah. David, Quay Walker or Bolton? Quay Walker, pretty easily. Yeah, I think I mean, we talked about it a little earlier. Bolton, less snaps, heavy linebacker rotation. So Quay clearly locked in as the LB1 there for Green Bay. Fresh Prince coming in. 3 linebackers, Kaliki, Speed, Alshire, Bernard, Logan Wilson. I think we're both out on Logan Wilson. So that basically comes down to, and we're both in on Speed. We like Hudson, but I don't know if you like Hudson enough to take him over Bernard and Shire. I think I'm in on Hudson Speed, and I'm actually going to go Shire here over Bernard.
yep,
I'm just not a huge fan of their matchup against New England this week.
1000%. That's exactly where I was leaning. So,
all right. Beautiful. All right. I'm going to keep us rolling because I let us fall way behind here. So Dirk coming in, start 4 linebackers. Barnes, Pete Werner, Nate Landman, Hicks are currently starting the other options, David Long and Ivan Pace. You got it locked. There's no Long and Pace are too concerning with their snap counts. Great talents potentially still in their own rights, but yeah, I think you got it locked in right there, Dirk. So it's like Jeff's nodding along, so that means we got the right call. Daniel, non-IDB question, totally cool. We answer all questions here. Ty Chandler, Zamir White, or Zeke. I guess we can start there. So start one there. I would probably go Zeke just because he's the best pass catching option out of the 3 there. And it's full PPR. So yeah, it's Zeke, White, Chandler for me.
I'm going to go. Jacobs is leaning towards not playing. So that gives Zamir White 1,000% run. I'm actually going to lean White, Zeke, Chandler. I just think New England's offense is just going to be inept this week and not going to be able to do as much. So I like the volume and opportunity of White over Zeke.
Yeah, I think you're probably playing. You probably got better touchdown opportunity with White. I think for me, like I said, Zeke, like I just think he's going to catch 5 passes, right? Like minimum. And so now I'm just playing that floor there. So totally get where you're coming from. So Daniel, we kind of maybe have some thought process to break down there between the guys that you like. Oh, whoops, I missed. There's more to that. I'm sorry. Also start 3, AJ Brown, Olave, Puka, or Nico Collins. Man, Puka's locked in. I like Nico. Tennessee is a pretty pass-friendly opponent, and Stroud's back. And Nico's had another chance. He played healthy through his calf last week. So I'd probably go. This probably feels wrong because AJ Brown's been a stud at times, but the offense has struggled a bit passing lately. So I'm going to go Olave, Puka, and Nico are actually my choices.
Yeah, can you sit AJ Brown in a championship week?
That's like I said. When you say it out loud, it feels wrong. But when I'm thinking through the process, those are the ones that come up to me.
Yeah, because they probably aren't going to have to do a lot to beat Arizona this week. So yeah, let's put it in Olave, Puka, and Collins.
Just like we called it week 1.
Wow.
Ryan's coming in. Linebacker, start 1. Hudson, Speed, or Bernard. Stopping right there. I think it's Speed for us. That's been the one that's been pretty consistently locked in for us. Hudson would probably be 2, Bernard 3rd. Defensive back, Metellus or Dax Hill. Alignment wise, I think you got to go with Metellus here. Hill's been a great story, and I appreciate him, and I've liked him a lot and had him in a lot of lineups, but Metellus just feels like the better play overall.
I totally agree. Speed and Metellus. We'll both be riding Metellus to our championships, hopefully Ryan this week. So let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's do it. A Ryan Jeff championship week, but just like we all wanted. That's the
Right.
best way to ring in the new year. Andy, Chandler, or Zeke? Well, Zeke, and I think you would have been Zeke too because we actually talked about the same set earlier. So, office, you are the like master Office Depot, and I appreciate it like no other. Thank you, sir, because
Everybody
I don't even
needs a
think
hype
about that
man.
kind of stuff.
Everybody
right?
needs a hype man.
I'm gonna get him a big clock, and he can be our Flava Flav. All right, Rogru. I picked up Zamir White just in case Ken Walker doesn't go. Any word on Jacobs? Nothing that's come through officially through any of the Twitter people I follow or beat reporters. So I think at this point, unfortunately, we're just you're holding your breath to see what comes up 90 minutes prior to game time. So my gut is Jacobs is out, right? Like they're clearly seeing what they got in other players. Jacobs has probably no desire to go out there. They're not playing for anything. He has he's healthy. He's proven he can play. He's looking for his next contract. These are all semantic things I'm talking about and arguing here. Has no weight or merit on what we actually know at this point. Just thinking out loud. I don't know, Jeff, if you feel anything different.
When is the Raiders game? Is that a late start?
No,
that's a noon game. So at least we'll know. So
yeah.
Yep. No, I like that. I like the pickup of Zamir White there too.
Yep. Jimmy, deep 2-quarterback league. Lost all my original guys. It sounds like everybody this year, or at least, I'm going to commiserate with you. So we're down to this: Mason Rudolph versus Seattle, or Taylor Heineke versus Chicago. I think you got to go Mason Rudolph personally pretty quickly there. I'm not a huge fan of the Seattle defense as a unit. I think they have some players that can make plays overall, but I just think Mason Rudolph's been in that system long enough, played with that coach long enough, and he's shown us a strong ceiling as well. I know Heineke's had some splash games in the past and can do a little bit with his legs, but I think Rudolph just has the better floor and upside in this case, in my opinion. But Jeff is a quarterback soothsayer, so
right. No, I think Rudolph has to probably going to have to do more. He's going to have to throw more, whereas that game is probably going to be more. Seattle's probably offense is going to be clicking a little more than I think maybe Chicago's offense. So he's going to have to be asked to do more to keep up. So,
Robert Holloway, Edmonds or Speed? Leaning Speed. I'm leaning that way as well. Edmonds has been really good this year, especially since coming back from injury, but it's been propped up a little bit by some big plays too. Not that he couldn't potentially replicate that, but it's not something I'm relying on, especially when you have a really, really strong option in Speed.
Speed away.
All right. I swear I'm going to get us caught up here, guys. I'm like within sniffing distance. Let's see. Eric Kendricks or Jordan Hicks, 2-point solo, 1 assist, 6 interception, 5 sack, 3 PD.
This is really tough because Kenneth Murray's probably going to be out for the Chargers, whereas Kendricks is just going to get a volume of play, which I hesitate a little bit just because, what is Denver's offense going to look like? Whereas Hicks is going to be going up against a probably more efficient Green Bay offense, and he's just done it all year in games that he's played 100% of snaps. Yep. It's got to be Hicks.
Yep, 100%. No argument there. All right, Cruz Rees, Granderson or Wilkins. Ooh. New Orleans is got trouble. I like Granderson. Yeah, yep, yeah. And just seeing his matchup against Tampa Bay, I like Granderson this week. It's a good problem to have there, but yeah, I think it sounds like we're both pretty easily on the Granderson side.
And I think the tackle numbers are probably higher for Granderson on the outside versus Wilkins on the inside. So I think that probably sways me a little higher floor.
Yep. All right. Zia coming back around with defensive tackle problems. Austin Johnson, Puna Ford, or Shy Tuttle. I love that you play in a DT required league. That's awesome. Just want to call that out first. But oh man, this is a tough one. Jeff, anything popping off the page for you? I got to take a peek at a couple things here.
Nothing jumping at the moment.
Ooh, I think I'm leaning Austin Johnson at this point right now. I think it's just I just think because I think the Denver is all they're gonna try to run the ball a ton, and I think that Austin Johnson is just gonna have a really strong tackle floor, and he's just shown he can do that throughout the year in terms of being a run defender as well. So yeah, I feel pretty. Austin Johnson, I think Puna Shy. I think you got him in the way you have him there is how I would order him. So I don't know. You're in your green stuff. So yeah, fire up AJ. He's gonna bring all the championship for you this week, Zia. I can feel it in my bones. All right, George, Zamir White or Achan half PPR. With Mostert out and the way that game predicts, I'm actually swinging upside a lot with Achan this week. I got a handful of them in some of my lineups, so I like Achan. Even if Josh Jacobs is out for Zamir White, I'm shooting big on that one.
Yep, and with Waddle being out too, I think that I mean he's going to have very limited options. Like if Baltimore takes away Tyreek, then Achan's going to have just a volume day.
Yep, and they've shown they're not afraid to use him in the passing game either. So, Madeline coming in: Dobbs, Douglas, Robinson, Chark, Herbert. So I'm assuming Romeo Dobbs, Demario Douglas, Demarcus Robinson, DJ Chark, and Khalil Herbert. I'm guessing. So it must be a flex because I can't think of a wide receiver Herbert. So to me, well, is Dobbs is he the only one left in Green Bay? Is it?
Well, it's supposed to have Wicks back, and then Reed is going to be back this week too, so that kind of dampens.
I'm out on Dobbs, and I think he's.
And Chark is out for me for sure. To me, it's between Douglas and Robinson.
I think
yes. If you need a home run, I go Robinson.
Yep.
And if you Douglas need a safe floor play, Douglas, yeah.
Especially full PPR, like Douglas as a good floor play. Half PPR, it splits down the middle much more than. But yeah, I think you nailed it there. So, good luck, Madeline. Zia coming in. Maybe it's best IDP. Well, that's Jace. He's got the best IDP ranks, that's for sure. We just come in here and talk silly for an hour and a half, but we love that you stop in with us, Zia, and good luck this week. Dirk coming back round. Kobe Turner or Samson Ebukam. Colts have the Raiders. I still like Ebukam better here. Yeah, I like Ebukam this week over Kobe Turner.
And he's been producing all season long. It's hard to go away from that. So,
yep. JDB picking linebacker in a tackle heavy league. Shaq Leonard, McDuffie, or Cashman. Cashman. If Cashman's healthy fully, which it appears he is, there's nothing slowing him down. It's Cashman by a mile. Madeline today, Bears or Philly defense. Chicago's got Atlanta. Heineke starting. Philly's got Arizona. It's a pretty close one, actually. I think I actually go Bears.
I was thinking that because Philly's defense is pretty decimated. Slay is out.
Yep.
They got a revolving door at linebacker right now. So
yep. Yeah, and I don't want us to hang on to last year too much, right? In terms of the 70 sacks they produced there, the Bears have actually been getting after the quarterback. They've shut down the run. They've been playing well in pass defense, making some plays there. So yeah, I'm going to go Bears, and I think it sounds like you're on board there too.
Yep.
All right, Rogeru, Pratt, or Speed. All right, 7730 PPR Barkley, Achan, or Rice. I'm hoping that's not Ray Rice, who the Ravens are honoring this week for some weird reason. Awkward. Yeah. Oh boy, that's a good one. Oh, gosh, my gut went with Rashee Rice actually here. Giants have the Rams. Yeah, Rams have been. Yeah, I go Rice, Achan, Barkley actually, and that probably doesn't sound right saying it out loud, but that's where I land actually here. I could be swayed into Achan again, but it's Barkley's actually third for me on this list.
Yeah, and Rice has had like an insane last 5 games. He's had over 60 some yards per contest. So clearly gaining the attention of Mahomes. So I think Rice is probably the play here.
All right. Zia, one wide receiver and one flex. We're looking at White, Shaheed, the Gus Bus DeAndre Hopkins and Devontae Adams. To clarify, is below half PPR. So I think Zamir White is probably, if Josh Jacobs out, Zamir White's got to be in your flex. I think he's. I don't like Gus Bus. Justice Hill gets too much run for me, and he's too dependent on the end zone, propping up his week. I mean, he's shown it can happen a ton, but I don't want to rely on that. So I'm Zamir White locked into my flex. I think if Jacobs is out, gosh, I don't know. Who do you like at wide receiver here?
As sad as it is not to start Devontae Adams, I just don't know what that Vegas offense is going to look like. Tennessee, I know that they're out of the playoffs, but they're a pretty proud franchise. I don't think they're just going to roll over and let a divisional game go to Houston. So I think that they're going to be in it to win it. So I'm almost leaning Hopkins just as a volume play.
And Levis is back, if that makes a difference.
Yep. And I just think that they're going to have to throw to stay in that with Stroud back. So I'm going to go Hopkins.
Yep. So I could be talked into Shaheed if it's like I'm down big, and didn't we tell her to? I think Zia, did we tell you to start Carr? That might be if you're down big, and you are starting Carr, if I'm remembering correctly, you want to shoot for Shaheed because you want that big play stack. I could get behind that for your wide receiver, but if you're in a more neutral projected matchup, I would agree and go with Hopkins here. So, but that's only because you have that big play stack with Derek Carr. Do I like Shaheed there? Barmore or Will McDonald? Oh, man, that's a good one. McDonald's just not getting enough snaps yet. I feel like I just want to double check that. My gut is Barmore here. He's a solid pass rushing interior defender. I mean, yeah, we're talking Will McDonald hasn't eclipsed 20 snaps yet this year. So, yeah, that's Barmore pretty easily for me then at this point.
Especially coming off the week that he had last week. Even if he gets 50% of what he did last week, he's still going to be a top 10.
Bench last week, Jeff.
Yeah, wow. He's on a lot of benches last week. And he was on a lot of waiver wires last week too. So
right. So yeah, sounds like Barmore pretty easily for us. JDB. Andrea wondering Logan Wilson, Spillane, or Speed. Wilson's off the board for us, I think. Spillane's a good option.
Raiders, so if we're that worried about Oakland Vegas's offense, do we worry about volume for Speed where maybe Indy's offense is a little more efficient? I'm going to lean Spillane here just because of that.
Yeah, I think I'm with you, but it's like 55% Spillane, 45% Speed, right? Like, I mean, you got to make a decision. You can't split them in your lineup. You got to pick one. So yeah, let's go Spillane there. Sheemble, Tua, or Jaron Hall. Kind of a joke, likely going to start Tua. You're good call there. No, I think you got to go Tua, Jaron Hall. I just a running quarterback, a rookie quarterback. I just can't. I couldn't bring myself to do that. If you do it and it works, I'll buy you some Little Debbie Christmas tree cakes and send them to you. Everybody loves those this time of year. David's wondering Matabuke or Hoyt. I think Matabuke is probably the right play talent-wise. Rams got the Giants. I can see the argument here. Bless you, Jeff. I probably still go Matabuke, even as I talked about. I don't like the matchup for him. This is one where I think Hoyt has been a great story. He's volumed his way into some production this year. Yeah, it's Matabuke, but not by much for me. You probably like it a little bit better than that.
I do. I think he gets back on his sack streak this week after 13 or 12 weeks in a row. I think he gets back on it this week and starts another streak. So,
yep. Okay, SV, thank you. Non-ID question, always welcome. Kyler McBride or Tua Hill Achan? Tua Hill.
Yeah.
I mean, Kyler McBride is great for McBride. I think McBride could go 10 for 100, 10 for 125, but Tua Hill could have, 3 plays of 40 plus yards, and one of them could be a touchdown. So, Naptown on D, Edmonds or Hudson. So I think Hudson. It's Kaliki Hudson over Tremaine Edmonds for me.
Yes, Hudson over Edmonds. Yes.
Yep. Nick Morrow or Shaq Leonard. I'm blanking on their injury status. I think they're both in.
Yeah,
So
and
so for me,
Cunningham
it's
was
Morrow.
questionable, so they're probably both going to be the starters. I just trust Morrow more.
Same.
Uh,
Yep. Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, Leonard's just he's dropped off fast. So Naptown on the offensive side, Zamir over Barkley. I think we came to that conclusion earlier. It was a full PPR. So I mean that's the one that would lean heavily Barkley, if anything. So yeah, I mean that's again assuming Jacobs is out. If Jacobs is in, I would definitely go Barkley over Zamir. Jordy have to pick 2 running backs out of this 4 in a final championship. Kenneth Gainwell, Antonio Gibson, Tyjae Spears, Roshan Johnson. Oof. I think Gibson's in for me because Robinson is out, or no, Chris Rodriguez is out for sure. So yeah, Gibson is in. Man,
I like the upside of Spears over Gainwell. I think Gainwell's going to get some volume, but I don't know if it's going to lead to a ton.
right.
Whereas that
Spears
game
gave you some
script,
30-yard end around like he's done already this
mm-hmm.
year for a touchdown, right? And it's like, okay, now my week is set on that one play for putting him in there. So sorry I jumped in over you there, but yeah, Gibson Spears, you talked me into Spears there. So
I love the Mr. Men meme or
right.
logo he has got.
and the
Oh,
congratulations of Barcelona. Oh, look at this. We've won international. This is
we're taking
amazing.
this thing international. Wow.
Good luck, Jordy, and best of the new year for you as well. IDP, Jalen Thompson available. Drop Reed Blankenship for. Phillies got Cardinals. I
They
actually
play each
would.
other.
Yeah, I'd go Thompson here. Blankenship's been a great story and play most of the year. I would go Jalen Thompson. And even if it's a dynasty, we've talked about DBs are replaceable 9 out of 10 times, so it doesn't matter about who you're trying to keep year over year. So Jalen Thompson, hands down for me.
Yep. I actually like Thompson dynasty value too. So.
Yep. Madeline with thank you. You are welcome. Cruz, why isn't Metellus not talked about more in IDP consistently? That is a great question. I mean, I get why he wasn't talked about at the beginning of the year. We didn't know how Flores' defense was going to look, but we have a really good understanding about halfway through the year. And yeah, not everyone caught up to that. So, but it sounds like you have, Cruz, and that's probably why you're playing in your championship this week. So, 7703, you guys are awesome. I mean, Jeff is. I'm here to ride his coattails as I previously described. So, but you're welcome. Isaiah, I hope I'm saying that right. Is Raiders defense a fraud? I got Colts defense, Raiders defense, and I love the Bears. Definitely shooting last week. Got burned, so I'm kind of hesitant. Which defense y'all got for the championship? The Raiders again? Oh, they're playing each other. I'd go. I think we talked about this already, actually. And for me, it's the Indianapolis defense is where I'd lean here.
He also has the Bears too, so we have those 3.
Oh, whoops!
Those 3 defenses. Antonio Pierce has done an amazing job with that defense.
He has.
Ever since he has stepped in, that defense has gone from like the bottom to like towards the top. I don't think they're a fraud. I think they're probably overplaying for the talent that they have.
They're propped up by a huge week too, right?
Yep. But it's not just 1 week. They've been playing pretty well over the last several weeks.
Yes.
I like the Bears more this week because they're playing Atlanta, where they're going to have probably a little bit more opportunity to make some plays. And that's just a gut feel that I think Atlanta's probably a little more turnover prone, whereas the Colts probably won't give as many opportunities for the Raiders defense. So I don't know. Or yeah, Jake on those 3.
I think I can get with you. Sorry, I was just reading Sam Howell is starting today, and Jacoby Brissett is determined to be the emergency 3rd string quarterback. So, so just keep that in mind with some of our matchups here. Some of the things we're talking through now, that was something we were kind of leaning on. No, I'm with you fully on that one. So,
did Schefter just text you that, or?
Yeah, no, it was Rappaport.
Oh, okay.
Who texted me via Twitter. Okay. Isaiah's wondering Zamir White, Demarcus Robinson, or Noah Brown. This is Noah Brown for me, but I'm again Texans bias. But I like what Noah Brown has done when he can be one of the top 2 passing options, receiving options in that offense. So,
yep, I
with
think
Stroud
Robinson
healthy,
is in for a down week. He's done it for 4 weeks in a row and kind of came out of nowhere. I think this is probably one of those down weeks compared to Noah Brown.
SV, thank you. Start Chase or Godwin. So, it's supposed to be Jamar Chase or Godwin. I mean, if Chase is out there, I'm if Chase is playing, it's Chase to me because I don't know how they can like what are they playing for, right? If they believe they're going to the playoffs and they're going to make some noise and do that, like you're going to risk one of your faces of the franchise. If you think that there's a genuine re-injury risk or significant chance there for that, so to me, if Chase is in the lineups and active, now I got to look and see when they play. Oh, but there, of course, are 3:30 game, and who's Godwin? Tampa Bay is of course a noon game. I'm okay putting Godwin in, like, and then unless you can get something earlier somehow that Chase is locked in. But yeah, if Chase is going to be out there, he's the guy. But because of the time difference, I would just put Godwin in there to be safe. So Jeff, you cool with that?
Yeah, very. Godwin's been producing the last few weeks, and I think we've talked about too that I think that Saints Buccaneers game has got a great upside for a high scoring game. I think it's going to kind of go back and forth. So
Yeah. All right, Dirk. Start three safeties currently: Dax Hill, Kyle Hamilton, and Jesse Bates. Other options are Fuller and Poyer. I have no concerns with what you're starting right now. I would actually leave that. I'm down on Fuller a bit this week. Poyer, yeah, I mean he's been No, I'm good. Hill, Hamilton, Bates. I'm good with that.
yeah, if you were going to swap someone out, it'd be Fuller for Hill for me. But
All right, Zia, Waller, or Logan Thomas. Ooh, that's Howell liked Logan Thomas when he's been playing. I feel I feel like Thomas is a safer play. I like Waller's upside just because of who he is. So
yep.
if you're swinging, if you want more points, like because of your down or projected low, go Waller. If you're even matchup, I'd say Logan Thomas. All right. Jeff didn't argue with me, so must have
Nope,
lost
we're
a
good.
connection there. Raiders defense, Colts defense, Bears defense. Oh, so I think we talked through that, right? So that was Isaiah's question, right? Because we answered that, I believe. I think he was just clarifying for us because you
I
said
had Raiders,
said
Colts.
Bears.
Yeah, I like the Bears defense this week of those.
Yep.
Yes.
All right, Naptown. Thanks, fellas. Have a great New Year's. Yep, same to you. Happy New Year to you,
Thank you.
Naptown, and everyone else. And have a safe New Year's. Isaiah, Zamir White, Demarcus Robinson, Noah Brown. I like Noah Brown. So
Yep, still no bro.
thanks, fellas. You're welcome. 7703 Ravens defense or Bears defense. Bears defense is the safer play. I think Ravens defense can definitely make some of those splashy plays and still make up for potential points given up. But Bears just feel like the better overall play. I think. All right. SV coming in with cornerback. If Devin Witherspoon is out, who's uptick? Trey Brown or Artie Burns? My gut tells me Trey Brown. But if gosh, I'm just not a cornerback savant. So I know we've talked about it last week. You can always check out on the IDPshow.com. Johnny the Greek writes an amazing cornerback write up for every matchup. So you can check in there for some greater detail if you want SV. So just go to the IDPshow.com, look for that. But what
Yeah,
do you think,
I'm
Jeff?
on
And I'm
board. If
just
it's between those two, it's going to be Trey Brown. But I honestly, if you go over to Johnny's article, you're going to find 15 names that are going to be high upside plays where he's hitting like at an absurd hit rate this season. So that would definitely be the way to go.
yep. Josh Jacobs officially out, I just saw. So Samir White, fire him up. Thank you and happy New Year. Same to you. MDH, Speed or Hudson? Hudson. Oh goodness. I mean, these two names have been tossed around 101
Yep.
times this morning. So pair them up together individually. Um, I just Speed's been doing it a little bit longer, so I like it a little bit better. And his solo to assisted tackle rate is one of the better ones too. So unless you have some sort of league where it's very low disparity between the two, assisted and solo. But yeah, it's Speed like 60-40 for me. So
Yeah, I'm gonna lean Speed even heavier just because the higher floor for him. He's been doing it more consistently for a long time. I know Hudson has been killing it the last couple of weeks, but um, just a not great matchup versus San Francisco. It's bound to catch up with them at some point. So I'm going to go speed.
Rich, last one. Never needs to be a last one. You can always keep them coming.
Nope.
But truly, thanks again for all you guys do. Couldn't sleep last night deciding on these matchups. Hilarious. Jeff and I were also talking before the show, and we are making jokes about the meme, right, where the wife's or the girl's laying there like, oh, I bet he's thinking about other women, and then like we were like, oh, what's greater for IDP production? Pass rush win rate or true pass rush win rate sets, and like all these analytics things that we worry about unnecessarily. And yeah, so totally with you there, Rich. But you're looking. You want us to pick two between Devin Lloyd, Kaliki Hudson, Logan Wilson, and Tremaine Edmonds. 5-point tackle bonus, 10. 5-point tackle bonus for 10 combined solo assist tackles. Jeff, I feel like I've been blabbing away too much here. Take us away and give us the right answer.
I'm going to take the first two here, Lloyd and Hudson. I just not really sure Logan Wilson can get that 10 combined floor against Cincinnati against the Chiefs this week. And Edmonds is pretty volatile, and I don't think he's got a very plus matchup this week either. So I think Lloyd and Hudson are going to be your best bets for hitting that 10 point or 10 tackle threshold.
Yeah, I'm locked in. Hudson's 1, Edmund or Logan Wilson's is 4. I think Lloyd has the better chance at the bonus. Yeah, not thinking through it. Lloyd's got the better chance at the bonus. So Hudson, Lloyd, 1, 2, and then Edmonds 3, Wilson 4. All right, Ciolo. Sorry if it was asked already. Well, it's okay. Ask again. We'll give the same answer. I hopefully we do. Logan Wilson versus Kansas City or Speed versus Las Vegas. I think Jeff, we know the answer. 1, 2, 3. It's Speed. Yep. So at least that's our answer. So because Jeff said it, it's right, and because I said it, I might cancel out Jeff's right, and it could be wrong. But good luck, Ciolo. Got a defensive tackle question: Hargrave or Chris Jones? That's a good one. Hargrave's got with Howell playing. I like Hargrave.
Yep.
Howell just holds on to the ball too much or tries to extend plays too much. So that's Hargrave for me pretty easily. And that's not because I think Jones will have a bad week. I really like this matchup for Hargrave now.
Yep, 1,000%. Hargrave it is.
All right, YB. Hey guys, pick 2: Javonte Williams, JSN, Adam Thielen, Demarcus Robinson, Noah Brown, Jerry Jeudy.
Noah Brown and Javonte jump for me.
Yeah, that's actually spot on for me as well. Is there any sort of PPR bonus here? Because then I could be talked into an Adam Thielen if it's full PPR, but I think Noah Brown is definitely the one for me. And I just like Javonte Williams because it's a.
Has Thielen been as hot of a play as he started out to be?
No, I don't even think he's had a touchdown since the bye week, as one of the stats I've heard. I just like that he could give you 7 catches for 70 yards. And Javonte Williams, that backfield is, and I'm a big Javonte believer. I bought a lot of shares of him coming into the season and even mid-season. 6-4-5 his last 3 games for Thielen. So, 90 yards, 40 yards, 70 yards.
Yeah,
so, but
I'm on board pretty heavily there with Williams or Javonte and Noah Brown.
Yeah. Well, let's lean with Jeff then. We both like Noah. We both like Javonte. He likes him a bit more. There is PPR, but yeah, we'll stick with Javonte. It's Chargers even. Staley's been out, so we're going Javonte. I'm overthinking this. Javonte, Noah Brown. Then he's already starting Nico and Ridley. So I don't know if you'd take anyone out. Nico would be in for me. But do you do Nico and Noah? But do you do Nika and Noah? Do you limit your ceiling even in a positive matchup? Are you hoping that Nico and Brown can come away with, you're betting a touchdown on one of them, maybe both of them? I just don't like Jerry Jeudy enough this year. And I'm not in on Demarcus Robinson this week too. So I'm a little stuck. I'm going to go Nico Noah. I'm a Texans fan though, YB. So I might, again, I try to be candid about that. I hope this isn't my bias coming through.
Does with Jacksonville starting Beathard, does that worry you about Ridley this week, where he comes out, and then maybe like a JSN goes in?
I could be talked into that. I guess I just
Is Ridley match quarterback proof?
well, I think he's shown that he's not, right. Even with the quote unquote better quarterback in Trevor Lawrence. Sorry, Jacksonville fans. Again, Houston fan here.
We just lost 2 subscriptions. Thanks, Jake.
Yeah, right. We're down to 3. No, I'm just kidding. Um, I still I got Nico and Noah in still.
Yep.
And I can't. I could see the argument for JSN over Ridley, but what other options are there in that offense besides Evan Engram? Like
Travis Etienne out of the backfield. I just don't know if Beathard is going to be able to I don't know. I just worry about Ridley this week being a viable option. So, and I like JSN going forward this week. So, sorry that was
okay, so you're going to put JSN over Ridley. Are you still putting Nico and Noah both in?
Yes.
Okay.
I think
so. I think we landed on that. Nico and Noah and
both.
Yep. So awesome. All right. Hopefully we helped you, YB. Probably not. We probably made it worse, but you know what? Tomorrow's a new year. So MDH. Pittman coming in. Pittman or Javonte Williams in the flex PPR. Big play scoring.
I got to go Pittman. When he's been healthy, he's been getting peppered with targets.
Yeah. Yep. So and he's had enough. He's sat out a couple of weeks now. He was cleared and then he went back into concussion protocol and he's cleared again. I feel confident that he's going to be out there. No significant re-injury risk in my opinion. So yeah, Pittman would be the one there. All right. Derek, full PPR, choose 2 for flex and super flex. James Conner, Devin Singletary, Jaron Hall, Zay Flowers, T. Higgins, Jaden Reed. Opponent had CD last night. Bless your team. Hopefully they recover from that last night.
Enjoy second place. So are we picking 3 of these? Choose 2?
Yeah, so but one, Hall could be in the super flex spot because he's essentially got 3 flexes, but one of them's a super. So that could be Jaron Hall, or do you put, one of these other options in over Jaron Hall? So I mean, I guess let's break it down like 2 flexes first, right? Because Jaron Hall ain't going in one of the 2 flexes. So who's locked into our 2 flexes? James Conner is locked in for me. He's shown that he's fairly matchup proof. Easy
for us. Being down probably 45 points already to CD. I think we have to go Connor, Flowers, and Higgins just for upside and because Flowers can. Yeah,
you don't like Singletary?
Having to start. I'm not in a camp of having to always start a quarterback in a super flex. So.
No, I'm with you there. I'm totally along that. I'm actually just more. I think, like Singletary. I just like what Singletary has done. Like. They had Damian Pierce returning kickoffs last week. Like this is clearly Singletary's backfield. And last time he played the Titans, he ripped off like 120 and he had a 40-yard touchdown called back that would have won the game in overtime too. So I think I'm Connor Singletary Higgins this week. Actually, I like him better than Flowers. So I think we're locked in. We're not playing Hall. We're putting in Connor and Higgins. And then it's a matter of who do you like better, Singletary or Flowers? It's what did he say? PPR. It is full PPR. Darn it.
What is Singletary in the pass game?
Not a ton. They haven't done a lot to the running back. So they like to pepper Flowers. I could be talked into Flowers. So we'll go the right path and follow Jeff. So we'll go Connor, Flowers, and Higgins. So
it just stinks in this situation where you have to chase points, and so you're swinging for huge upside, and I think Flowers does that. And if Miami can somehow make this game close, being shorthanded without Waddle, without Mostert, I think that only helps Flowers' opportunity to make plays.
Yeah. YB says thanks. Well, we at least said something that made sense to them then, or they're just being polite. So you're welcome, YB.
That was our
Uh,
14-hour answer on Nico
right.
Collins and Noah Brown.
And Calvin Ridley. Ciolo, I bench Pollard for Singletary. Stroud back. It's looking like the right call so far. I mean, what's Pollard got to do? Fall or Stroud or Singletary got to do? Just fall forward for 15 yards and probably better than Pollard. So, all right. Well, that catches us up, Jeff. We did it. I got us there eventually, like 30 minutes later. Um, so I guess first and foremost, best of luck to everyone in all those remaining matchups you have. Thank you guys for joining in to ask your questions, whether it's just to listen to the thought processes and try to pick up a little bit of insanity from myself and Jeff here as we talk, this crazy game that we love. But happy New Year's to everybody. Have a great night. Best of luck in the matchups again. And hey, stay tuned, into the off season. Show is always doing content throughout that. So talking, dynasty stuff. We get into redraft stuff eventually. Just a lot of craziness here. So feel free to always check back in with us. We will be here next week because some people do have week 18 stuff. So for those that have it, we'll check in with you guys then. But hey, thanks again to everybody. Jeff, I don't know, any parting words for the amazing people we have here with us?
Yeah, come back next week and ask us those week 18 questions, those dynasty stashes for players, and then also just kind of show us the hardware. Show us you won. So
I love it. Yeah, you should do it. Yeah, if you guys pull them out, send those matchups over on X or Twitter at the IDP or no, at the IDP show. That's the handle. I'm getting everything mixed up here. But yeah, let us see that stuff. Like we love knowing that you guys were able to pull it out here, because it takes a lot of skill in fantasy football to actually make the playoffs, and then to do all the stuff here in the playoffs. It's just it's crazy. So thank you everybody, and have a happy new year.